You are listening to an MLGA Network podcast.
My name is Ryan, and I'm an agorist. Today we are talking about elections, memes, and the digital age.
Wait, No, stop it. Stop the music, Ryan.
Huh? What are you doing?
This isn't techno-agorist. This is Make Liberty Great Again.
Oh, right, my other show.
Okay, I'm fine with it, but don't let Phil hear you say that.
Who?
Oh, Phil. He's some jarhead, big ego, tiny penis. I think you know him.
Dude, I don't know about you, but I've never seen his penis.
Well, he likes to use a blow dryer to make sure it's, as he says, nice and dry and dandy while we're recording. I mean, honestly, it was a little awkward the first time, but sadly, you kind of get used to it after a little while. I mean, at this point, it only gets awkward when that old man walks in with his own blow dryer.
All right, well, sorry. I hadn't realized he meant so much to you. Would you like me to tell some bizarre story about being in the Marines?
Wait. You were a Marine?
No, I wasn't in the Marines. Goodness, man. Can't make you happy.
No one can, except for Phil. Welcome to Make Liberty Great Again, the best damn Liberty podcast that you've never heard of.
Ryan
Phil and I will be your guides as we peer into the ridiculous reality of our society and our government. Let's get to it. Welcome to Make Liberty Great Again. I'm your host, Cam Harless, and with me as sometimes is Ryan Burgett of Techno-Agorist fame. Let's just jump right into it. You got anything for me for this week, Ryan?
What do we want to talk about? Hey, I have a great story. Did you hear about the lady who tattooed her eyes and went blind?
I did. I saw the picture of this woman. There's something so horrible about a human being that chooses, like a good-looking, beautiful woman who decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to destroy the fact that I'm beautiful and make myself look like I'm half monster.
Yeah, or in her case, all monster. I mean, except maybe in silhouette, but come on, this isn't fair.
She tried to tattoo her eyes blue.
Yes, of course, blue.
And wasn't it that you said she went blind, right?
Yeah, apparently for 3 weeks. I don't even know what that means, but I guess she couldn't see for 3 weeks, and now she can.
Well, that's something.
Yeah,
I mean that's
go.
like the obvious thing that would happen, but you know. I mean, Joseph Mengele didn't have any more luck with it than she did.
Ah, yeah. Poor little kids. Thanks,
Nazi
Cam.
reference.
Sorry, I try and give something nice and, kind of silly to talk about at first. Blindness on a mentally disturbed woman, and you have to bring it back to torturing children in Nazi Germany.
Hey, we all have the things that we love.
Yes, and you love strange things.
I think my next episode is going to be about how I'm a Nazi.
Nice, and mine will be about Godwin's Law.
All right, man, there is a lot that's going on. I don't know if you heard, but Epstein didn't kill himself.
He didn't?
No.
Huh, imagine that. I haven't seen that on every single meme for the last week or two.
I personally enjoy those memes. I like making them.
I think they're great.
What's great about them is it seems to have kept it in the public eye, which is really good for people who want to know the truth about stuff like that.
Yeah. After he was arrested, he disappeared. No, but everyone stopped talking about him after he'd been arrested. And then he died. And that could have gone away really fast, and it started to, but people brought it back. Ha ha! 3 cheers for the internet, man.
Well, not to mention that right after all these memes started going around, Michael Baden, I think his name is, which is like the guy who does autopsies for celebrities. He did like O.J. Simpson's wife and a couple other people. JFK somehow. But he came out saying that the Epstein suicide, the strangulation pattern around his neck didn't actually line up with suicide as much as it did homicide.
A celebrity autopsy guy?
Yeah.
What the
Medical
heck
examiner.
Is that? I have never heard of that before. So he actually looked at all these people? Like, this was the guy who looked at, like, they thought, let's bring in, the big guns. Let's bring in the celebrity guy to do Epstein?
Right, yeah.
Or is he just saying what, he actually did the examination?
Yeah, he did an examination. I don't know if he did an examination directly on him or if he looked at the pictures. I think that probably is the more likely scenario, like looking at X-rays and photos and stuff like that. Because he did one on JFK, he did it on Martin Luther King Jr.,
who was murdered,
O.J. Simpson's wife. Yeah, I mean, like all the well, yeah, and by the
government. Exactly, that's the point.
I mean, but 2 out of what JFK, there's a lot of talk about him. Maybe they just pull him in when the state did it.
Oh, maybe.
Interesting little mixture of people there.
Yeah. Wait.
But yeah, no.
So why did the state kill O.J. Simpson's ex-wife? Bum bum bum.
Because they hate black people.
That was pretty. I watched the special on Netflix about that with the Nazi cops. That was pretty nutty, pretty crazy. The dude hated black people and made up all that stuff, and yeah.
I've never said the N-word before. 23-minute audio tape of him saying the N-word.
Yeah, that was something else. Okay, back to Epstein. Talk about Epstein.
So let me tell you about one of my favorite videos on the internet right now. I don't know if you've seen this, but there was a guy who trains dogs, like the one in the Trump meme that's been getting a lot of play, who was part of the taking out of al-Baghdadi.
Okay.
So he was a part of whichever branch of the military or whoever went in right before al-Baghdadi committed suicide by bomb, allegedly, and then was magically thrown into the sea, buried into the sea as soon as possible.
Of course. Like Bin Laden.
But yeah, so there was kind of a profile on this show about these types of dogs and what they do, and the thing about the video is when I saw, I think we talked about this, when I saw the first version of the video, it was on an article, a corporate press article. Saying,
wait, you're talking about the Fox News video?
Yeah, the video,
right.
The video
right,
where
the guy doing the PSA about dogs. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but they didn't say he set it up as a PSA, and it was a really funny and smart way to say Epstein didn't kill himself. What was it? How'd they put it?
The one I saw, it said, "Guy randomly blurts out Epstein didn't kill himself on Fox News."
That was it.
I clicked on that. I was disappointed. I was like, really? Why would someone do that? That's not the meme. And then I opened it up, and he does this. He goes, "May I quickly, give a note to the viewers?" And the guy goes, "Oh, yes, you can quickly do that." And he gives this beautiful PSA, and it flows perfectly into, and Epstein didn't kill himself. Bam! I mean, perfect execution. I was so proud of that guy.
So good. So good. But yeah, no, I mean, that's the way the left frames anything that they don't like, especially memes. Speaking of, I mentioned the Trump meme. That dog that, if my understanding is correct, that piece on Fox News was about, was the one that the meme Trump posted of him giving a Medal of Honor to the dog or a Purple of Heart, some...
I heard about the media thing, like the media was fact-checking an obviously photoshopped image, right? I mean, but I didn't look at anything past that. I just chuckled and moved on because the media's dumb.
And so it was just kind of a funny picture that Trump put up. But of course, whenever Trump posts some sort of meme, they fact-check it and they discount it. This time it was, they always use the same type of phrasing. They always say that videos or photos are doctored.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course it's doctored. It's a meme. That's the whole point. Before that was the video from Kingsman where they had pasted Trump's head on top of Colin Firth's head when he went to the church and shot it up. I won't give away the movie, but, for story reasons.
I have not seen that movie, but now I know that Colin Firth shoots up a church full of people.
Westboro Baptist Church style people.
Oh, so that makes it okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, murder's okay if we don't like the
Might
people we're
as well kill
murdering.
their children, too. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I mean, at least sterilize them.
Yeah, something.
But no,
anything.
so that was a doctored video. When Count Dankula was it Count Dankula who did it? There was a memer, I can't remember his name, but he put up a video when the Biden sniffing meme was going around really strong, of Biden going behind himself and sniffing himself.
Wow.
And Trump shared that, so they started calling it a doctored video. There's this weird, it's the corporate press is the enemy of the people.
We have proven this to be false. Good for you.
It's how they function. I mean,
right. And Trump's just messing with them. It's so darn easy.
I know, it's ridiculous, and that's the beauty of it. Is it makes one of the greatest thing about Trump is that he has just bulldozed. He's bulldozed the Bush dynasty. He bulldozed the Clinton dynasty. He's delegitimized the office of the president. He makes fun of these people outwardly and makes them.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the troll in chief, and it's my favorite thing. But he makes it so apparent that the corporate press has an agenda. It's not that they're biased. It's not that
of course they're biased. Everyone's biased.
Right.
It's impossible to not be biased. That's not the problem.
Yeah, it's not that they're biased. That's not the big issue. The issue is that they have an agenda. They have something that they are shooting for. They have something that they are going towards, which is, I don't know if you've heard of Mencius Mollbug's Cathedral. Very interesting subject matter.
I don't even know what you just said.
Listen or read The New Right by Michael Malice. He goes through all of this. Fascinating book. I do highly recommend that. But that's the thing. The corporate press, this is what they do. They try to make, over and over again, I see this happen every day. They frame things darkly so that they change the way the common people see things. And it's not a bias. It's not, I accidentally put up a video of the Kentucky shooting range machine gun event. That's Syria. I just thought it's Syria.
That was something else.
I mean, all of these. They just happened to cut off all the cell phones in the bottom part of the video.
Yeah, the obvious regular American folks with cell phones watching it, having a blast. Yeah, accidentally cut that off.
You don't take the whole bottle, but you have to take at least one red pill. And of all of them, I recommend noticing the corporate press as for what they are. I mean, and it's one of those things.
Sure.
That I hear a lot even on the right in conservative circles, and even some libertarians will talk about how you can't even trust the New York Times anymore. You can't even trust blah 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 anymore. It's like, okay, shut up, because anymore doesn't work because you've never been able to trust these people. They've made you think that. They made you think Walter Cronkite was good, or that there were 3 different channels you could watch and get unbiased coverage, or know where the bias is, whatever.
Or remember, it used to be like sports teams. We were always, Peter Jennings at home. Always had to listen to Peter Jennings. Peter Jennings was the best, unlike the guy on CBS or the guy on NBC. Boy, have times changed. We have communication now.
I can understand someone from the left saying something like, we used to be able to trust the New York Times or the Washington Post, which I didn't even get into how they eulogized al-Baghdadi. That was fantastic.
Oh, that was amazing. Washington Post.
WAPO.
Esteemed religious scholar.
Austere religious scholar.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. And didn't they change it, though? Wasn't it originally, something different?
No, that was what
Head
it was
ISIS
first. They called him austere religious scholar, and then they had to change it to make it seem less like they were eulogizing him.
Oh, so it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Boy,
they had
sad.
to hide it again. But that's the thing. Like I could understand it if the left was like, well, we used to be able to trust the New York Times. But it's when I hear like people from the right or libertarians say stuff like that, or, oh, there's a bias. Give me a break. In the 1930s, I forget the guy's name. Walter, I'll have to look it up. But there was a reporter for the New York Times that went over to the Soviet Union and wrote pieces in the New York Times that were either pro-Stalin or gave excuses for things that Stalin did.
Nice.
There was a time when we could trust insert channel or paper here. Doesn't exist.
The Ukrainians chose to starve themselves.
Right. Right. Right.
I read a lot of that in Liberal Fascism. That was a good book. But they go through a lot of that, the media people fawning over the fascists and the communists in the 20s and 30s. It was a weird time. But, it's not that weird considering they're still doing it today.
Right. And that's the crazy thing, is there are people out there that who I know consider themselves to be quote unquote red-pilled and to see past the government schemes, but then they'll just fly into this. Like, they don't even realize it, but they're actually defending the left. They're defending what Michael Malice calls the cathedral. They're defending evangelical leftism, and they don't even realize it. And so, like, I'll hear people say little things like that, and it's like when I hear, there are a lot of phrases that if I hear them, I cringe on the inside.
Voluntary taxes.
That's one of them. That is one of them. But yeah, no. So Trump is a troll. Let's get back to the task at hand here. Have you paid attention to his tweets regarding the Democrats that are running for president?
I hadn't until this morning when you sent me a pile of them. They made me chuckle. This guy's amazing. I mean, in that sense, he's also a murderer. So just put it in context.
Well, yeah, he's a murderer.
He murders people. But he also makes some nice tweets. Welcome to 2019, the value scales. On the one side, there's the murders. On the other side, there are the tweets.
Right. Golly. Well, and that's the thing. Regardless of who the president is, he or she.
Good job, Cam.
Is going to be a murderer. So if they're going to be a murderer anyway, I might as well enjoy the trolling that they do while they're at it.
Okay.
So
do you have these tweets?
I have them. Should I read them in my Trump voice, or should I read them like a normal human?
Go ahead, Trump.
The Dow is down 573 points, perhaps on the news that Representative Seth Moulton, whoever that may be, has dropped out of the 2020 presidential race.
Seth Moulton. I've never heard of that guy.
I haven't either. One of my favorites, because it's so simple and boomer, is Kirsten Gillibrand. I don't know if you knew much about her, but she was one of the women who ran for president, and she's like America's ex-wife, is the best way to describe her.
No, I didn't follow her.
And his tweet for her was,
"A sad day for Democrats. Kirsten Gillibrand has dropped out of the presidential primary. I'm glad they never found out that she was the one I was really afraid of."
Nice.
But yeah, there are several of these.
I love the Bill de Blasio one. Yeah, I'll just read it normally. He goes, "Oh no, really big political news, perhaps the biggest news in years. Part-time mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio, who was polling at a solid 0 but had tremendous room for growth, has shockingly dropped out of the presidential race. NYC is devastated because he's coming home."
They're so much fun to read, partially because they're such boomer insults. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that. They're devastated that he's coming home. So boomer. So boomer. Yeah.
Golly.
Like some of them are barely even worth mentioning. Tim Ryan, who is probably the most boring looking and boring sounding person I'd ever heard on a debate stage.
Even his name is boring.
Yeah.
Tim Ryan.
Yeah, what kind of name is Ryan?
Really?
But yeah, his most recent one was Beto. When Beto decided he was no longer going to be running for president.
"Oh no, Beto just dropped out of the race for president despite him saying he was born for this. I don't think so.
All right. How many murders do these ones make up for?
None. But hey, levity is the spice of life.
What if they're dark skin? Isn't that the scales it's supposed to be?
Yeah, well, I think, the murder's bad. I'm very against that. That's like my number one issue of all time ever. But we have the president is a living meme. And
true.
One of the things he did by being the troll in chief, by campaigning the way he did, by getting the kind of followers and everything in the 2016 election was, he destroyed how elections are run.
Right.
Because those memes reached out to Generation Z, who I think they just started being able to vote, but it hit the millennials. It hit a lot of people who felt disenfranchised by people who didn't want Mitt Romney or Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Mitt Romney, talk about a disaster.
But that's what's beautiful. He's changed the whole way elections work. He's changed how people get votes now. I'll let you tell the good news about the left finally catching up to meme.
Well, seriously, no, he set the stage, all right? He set the bar. And now, with this new election, there are some real challengers coming his way. Elizabeth Warren now has a meme team, literally called Warren's Meme Team. WMT. They shortened it. Oh, God. WMT. They have a website, warrensmemeteam.com. They have a Warren's Meme Team Facebook page. They have Warren's Meme Team on Facebook, GitHub, Instagram, Reddit.
GitHub.
Yeah. GitHub. Yeah, did you see what they're doing over there on GitHub?
Hello, fellow kids.
No, but seriously, on GitHub, they have one repository called WMT-app. Presumably Warren's Meme Team app. What is a Warren's Meme Team app?
I don't know.
Of course, it's empty. There's no README. There's no nothing. There's 5 issues. So I clicked over there. It made me chuckle. So one person posted, "No memes. Where are the memes?" Another guy, "Where are the memes?" And then another person, "This repo is actually a great idea." And then, yeah. This itself is a meme. That's correct.
I think I know what they're doing because they're on GitHub. Because they're making technology. They're making an app. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna make an augmented reality filter that makes Elizabeth Warren an actual Native American.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're gonna play into her strengths.
Well, I did see that there's this bizarre picture at the top of her Facebook page. You can do a lot with 2 cents, and it shows like 3 dozen pennies. I have no idea
why so many
what
pennies.
It is or why it's. I know, or what that weird pixelated thing is off in the corner.
It's just bad.
It says top of a mock-up for a "you can do a lot with 2 cents" AR filter.
Oh my God! Wait, that's
what is an AR filter? Like augmented reality?
Yeah. So an AR is like, I don't know if you've ever. I know
Snapchat. I know what augmented reality is, but what does that have to do with this?
I don't know if have you ever been on Snapchat?
No. Do I look like a teenage girl?
Sometimes. On Snapchat, they have a couple of different augmented reality filters. So, one of them is a dancing hot dog.
Oh.
Still haven't figured out what that's for.
I really wish I was on Snapchat now. What else am I missing?
Right. I have no idea. I'm hoping that it's just going to be a dancing Elizabeth Warren, because the fun thing about those is you can like put them in your hand. You can, put them on your butt. You can do anything to completely humiliate Elizabeth Warren. I really hope that's what we're going for here.
But what does it mean? You can do a lot with 2 cents.
Okay, you can do a lot with 2 cents.
Is that a phrase?
Yes, it's one of her phrases. Her whole thing is that the tax rate should change for the ultra rich, and anyone who makes over a certain amount of money should have to pay a tax of 2 cents per dollar that they make after a certain threshold.
Dollar they make or dollar they hold? Because people already pay more than 2% in taxes.
Right. I guess it would be in addition to what they're paying now. I'm not entirely sure how it would work because...
Well, that'll solve all the government's problems.
Right. It's so boring. It's stupid. But on top of that, it's just they're trying to make these like wonky leftist positions colloquial and, I don't know, memorable. And so you can do a lot with 2 cents is like one of her catchphrases. It's awful. And why...
It really is.
Why in a quote-unquote meme about it would you put 13 cents on it? You put 2 pennies. I mean, there's no logic to this. But it's... I'll be honest, I've been saying for a while now that I think at the end of the day it's going to be Warren versus Trump in the
that would be amazing,
election,
man.
Which I'm fine with because she could not handle that man.
It'd be amazing. It would be so fun.
I mean, it's not really what I want. What I want is there are rumors. Apparently someone from the Clinton staff has said that Hillary Clinton is looking at running again.
That would be so sad.
Oh, but apparently she's looking into it because the idea is that
they need a savior.
Yeah, all of the Democratic hopefuls so far have been so uninspiring and bad that they can bring Hillary Clinton in the last moment and she'll win the day. And I want nothing more, Ryan. I want that.
It would be wonderful to watch her get trounced again.
Oh my God.
That would be absolutely hilarious.
I mean,
very entertaining. It wouldn't make our lives any better, but it would be fun to watch. You know?
That's all I care about because
it's like, give us a show. Yes. We're sinking anyway. Give us a show.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Dance for me.
So, God, meme team. Oh,
there we go. Well, I mean, but seriously, after they roll out the memes, then they won't need Hillary. I was looking at their document. They have like this Warren's meme team plan. It's a Google Doc, and they have lots of emojis because the young folks are all into emojis. So if you use emojis, that'll get them on your side. So she'll have all the young people for her in no time.
God. Well, let me pivot. I was just about to ask you who your favorite candidate for the LP presidential candidacy, nomination, whatever, is, but I can't tell you all of them or even some of them. I think Kokesh is running again, and there's I think her name's Lauren Ruff, and the only reason I'm not sure about Kokesh, but the reason I know that I think her name's Lauren Ruff is running is because I made fun of her on Twitter and she started talking to me.
Whoa, you're in the big leagues now, hanging out with LP presidential hopefuls. Man, oh man.
Yeah, and it was so funny because I was just trolling someone else because there was some tweet about who do you think should be the Libertarian presidential candidate? And my answer is no one.
Amen.
But someone was like, oh, Ruff Phillips, I think she already picked out her vice president or something. And I was like, oh, the LP's running a dog? That would be awesome. I mean, honestly, at this point, if the LP ran an actual dog, that would be a statement. And so I had tweeted something kind of jokingly towards that guy, kind of mildly trolling. Mm-hmm. And she came in and she was like, well, I'm not a dog, but I'd love to earn your vote. Good luck.
Yeah, such a political thing to say. I mean, at least she wasn't, the super offended type, What are you implying about me? Who do you think you are as a white male saying these things to me?
She was actually very nice, and we had a little back and forth. And I said, hey, if you ever want to talk on my show, feel free to let me know. And she'd said something about December. So if you're listening to this, Lauren Ruff, which I know you're not, thank you for that interaction, and we'd definitely love to have a conversation. Maybe you can, because the last election talked me out of ever voting again, and maybe you can talk me back into it. Doubt it, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, but did he hear? I mean, seriously, I could not care less about Libertarian Party, anything at this point.
Yeah. No,
but it did surprise me when I saw Scott Horton share that Jacob Hornberger is running. Are you familiar with Jacob Hornberger?
It's a name I've heard, and I honestly, I don't know why. Unless he's been on the Tom Woods show or something. I don't know. Or maybe Tom Woods has mentioned him. No idea.
Everybody's mentioned him. Yeah. The dude's been published on, at Mises tons of times. He's been a guest on Scott Horton's show, multiple times. He started the Future for Freedom Foundation.
What a great URL, by the way, that would make. FFF.
Well, that's what it is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That is such a memeable URL.
Yeah. But seriously, man, the LP presidential candidate is not going to win. Let's just take that off the table.
Yeah.
They're not going to win. They're not going to be president. They're not going to beat the Democrats and the Republicans. They're not going to be in the White House, ending the Fed, at the beginning of 2021. That's just not going to happen. Okay? The best that a libertarian candidate could do, presidential candidate could do, is just present people with a different paradigm. Challenge people to think outside of the box, to open their minds a little bit. And Trump actually did a shockingly good job, at least at the beginning of his campaign, doing that. Asking really hard questions about the wars and things that people, especially in the Republican Party, hadn't necessarily talked about since Ron Paul stepped off the stage.
Right.
He really brought this stuff back into the party. The same people who were rabid for wars during George W. Bush's years, those same boomers, here they are voting for Trump, saying, bring the troops home. Like, that's pretty amazing. And he wasn't even a libertarian. Who was the libertarian candidate last time? Talk about a freaking joke, man.
Tulsi Gabbard is doing that now in the Democratic Party.
Yeah. I mean, that's great.
I love it.
She's doing a far better job than Trump is.
Oh, absolutely. Because
right
you can tell she actually believes what she's saying. Or rather, not that I think that Trump believes it because he's said it enough times. But I think like I've said so many times, is Trump doesn't have any central principles. And so he has some good instincts, but it's whoever talked to him last that gets the final say in what he does.
Well, if that's the case, I'm glad that Rand Paul has his ear, at least sometimes.
Absolutely. But yeah, tell me more about Hornberger.
Yeah, looking at his blog, man. I just love this stuff. This makes me happy. I would love to have somebody who talks about these things on the campaign trail. The titles for his recent blog posts: Who is responsible for the deaths of those 3 children in Syria?
Trump.
Another one, immigration... yeah. Another one, immigration controls lead us into temptation. Another, talking about al-Baghdadi. Were the deaths of 3 children worth it? Or in search of Baghdadi to destroy. Another, the never-ending wars on terrorism and drugs, the evils of the drug war. Lots of, just, seriously, it's all about war and violence and ending.
Pretty hard-hitting, too.
I know. I really appreciate that.
I can't really, because I really haven't looked that much into him at all. But the idea that after we, quote unquote, we, every time someone says we now, my automated response is take that we shit back to the Soviet Union.
Yeah,
but
because it wasn't me.
Yeah, but we just killed the leader of ISIS, and this guy is actually writing an article titled "Were those 3 children's deaths worth it?" That's ballsy. I have to give him that.
It is.
Because most people are going to say yes in America, unfortunately.
It's a weird paradigm we live in.
Yeah.
But seriously, if this guy could focus on this message, end the violence, both at home and abroad, drug wars, foreign wars, end the violence. That's a darn good message. I'd love to see that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always love when a good message gets out there. The hard part for me is that I have zero confidence in the LP. Like, honestly, when you said that he was running for president with the LP, my first thought is, do we really want that?
Yeah. Well, it does more damage to his brand than it does to make the LP better.
The LP's not going to win. They're just going to embarrass us more. I'm when it comes to the LP, I'm pretty solidly black-pilled. Like, I don't see any good coming from it. I don't see the point. And so I'd just much rather make fun of it than, and really, one of the problems with the LP, and I think that a lot of America and libertarians and anarchists, what they see, no one wants to back a loser, and that's what the LP is. And
the perpetual losers?
Yeah, the LP being a loser is shown no better than when they get... How many % of the vote did Gary Johnson get? Was it 4?
I don't know. It was, something.
Yeah, it was almost
something
nothing.
Respectable. Less than 5, but it was, I don't know, 3.
Something.
2,
it was
4.
It was a little more than absolutely nothing.
Something that he won't win.
Yeah, when the leader of the party gets up and touts that as some huge win, nothing tells me that it's a loser party more than that.
Yeah, but seriously, more people know about his video with his tongue sticking out, than they do about anything that he said on the campaign trail or anything he did.
Did he say anything on the campaign trail?
Well, the only thing that I remember him saying was that you should, force the Jewish people to bake the Nazi cakes.
Right.
And that if somebody won't bake a cake for somebody, that he'd, stand to the side and watch them go to jail. He wouldn't necessarily have a problem with that. Twitch is like, whoa, really? This is libertarian? Like, wow.
He also called, religious liberty a black hole or something, if I remember correctly.
The dude was just nuts. Absolutely. But I think he was high most of the time anyway. He
No
said
joke.
he wasn't, but look at that dude's face, man.
Look at his eyes.
And they weren't blue, though.
They weren't blue.
Like that weirdo lady.
But yeah, I struggle with the concept of wanting anyone to win the LP nomination because I don't see the point, because the body politic of the party is based on how many votes you can get and how you can get elected and how many Republican governors they can get to run on the LP ticket.
Well, that's generally what they go for. Yeah, they just try and get the biggest Republicans and Democrats they can find in order to draw more people, get more votes. But that's a never-ending cycle that won't actually take them anywhere. There's no way they won't win elections that way.
God, who was the person that...
Golly.
Oh, it was so ridiculous. Don't stop going for Republican governors. I don't want one. I mean, especially when one of the 2 Republican governors that you're running for the LP presidential candidate, or, the LP ticket with both of them, talks about how Hillary Clinton's a good kid, and gun to his head, Bill Weld would vote for Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump.
Yep. And of course, the guy who was for gun control.
I'll give Gary Johnson this, though. Bill Weld said he'd vote for Hillary Clinton, and Gary Johnson said pull the trigger. I'll give him that. That works.
Pull the trigger?
Yeah, if a gun to your head, would you vote for Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump? And Gary Johnson said pull the trigger.
Oh, pull the trigger? Yeah, that's
that wasn't bad, but I can't remember anything else that he said that was positive.
Well, like I said, if you're going to have a LP candidate run, which chances are I won't vote for the LP candidate, because I don't want to vote for anybody, especially for president. I might vote locally, but whatever. There's basically nobody I could vote for, in a federal election at this point. But if you're going to run, if someone's going to run as an LP presidential candidate, if they could get out some good information, cause some people to maybe think a little outside of the box like Ron Paul did to so many of us, I mean, that's what, to a large extent, what got me on this journey.
Yeah,
but
besides McCain.
Either way, just looking... yeah, my guilt over him. But if you go to Jacob Hornberger's site, jacobforliberty.com, he has his positions on all the different major issues of the day. And the dude's pretty darn great if you're gonna put him down into positions like taxation. He says abolish the federal income tax and IRS. Bam. People have a fundamental God-given right to keep everything they earn and decide for themselves what to do with it. Sounds good. And then abortion, the guy's pro-life, okay? Here's where all the libertarians freak out. But he admits that the government isn't the way to fix that.
Right.
Because all the government can do is do more violence. So guess what? He's not for the government getting involved. What he's for is getting the government out. No more government funding of abortions and all these other. Just get the government completely out. And then, let people deal with this in their homes, their families, their churches, and then see what happens. But it's not the government's job to bring violence to try and fix violence. Like Jesus said, violence begets violence. It's a never-ending cycle. It's stupid.
This is the only way the LP should be used at this point. I don't want a president.
Amen.
But if I have to have presidential candidates that I have to pay attention to or choose to pay attention to because I have a macabre sense of humor, I'd like to have the Libertarian up there actually spreading libertarian principles. I would like to see private property vocalized in a good way. I'd like to see people talk about the not killing people overseas. I'd like a strong anti-war voice. It's at this moment in time, the LP thinks that they can win national elections or shoots for 5% when they should be shooting to be changing the minds and creating libertarians, because either you create 1 million protest votes or you create 1 million new libertarians,
Mm-hmm. Well, and really libertarianism is a lifestyle, man. But yeah, it's way more than who you vote for.
When you create a libertarian, you create someone who creates libertarians. There are people who I know that never thought twice about the concept of liberty or war or anything like that since then are now, there's at least one person in my group that I inadvertently brought over to the side of liberty. What's more important? Those two, Hillary and Trump, were the two most disliked presidential candidates of all time, and the LP still only got like 4%.
Isn't that sad?
Imagine what could happen if they started giving a real understanding of liberty to the masses that could inspire people like you, like me, people all over America to start thinking, hey, maybe war is evil. Maybe it's mass murder, and we should stop calling it with these weird euphemistic names so that we make sure we don't feel too dirty when we talk about killing children.
There's always collateral damage in war. Collateral damage, yeah. Murdered children.
Why don't we start creating people who love peace, and then it's at that point it's just exponential.
But
it's
also
just adding on top of adding.
Like I really appreciate Jacob Hornberger's what he wrote about the environment on his website, because this is exactly the kind of thing we need. Because you bring up the environment, and most people are like, "Oh yeah, we should take care of the environment." These companies, destroying the forests and destroying the air and polluting the oceans, blah blah blah. But if you read Jacob Hornberger's thing on the environment, he actually laser focuses on where it should be. He points out that the U.S. government owns, about 30% of the land area of the United States. The federal government owns that much, a third of the country.
Ridiculous.
Well, exactly. And the worst pollution, the worst destruction of the environment happens on government-owned land. When it comes down to it, the people who take the best care of their property are private owners because it's theirs, because they own it, as opposed to the government, who it's in their best interest to use it for all it's worth. Just like they do the voting population.
Or even if they don't own it, the state is dropping bombs on it.
Oh, that too.
Or using or exploiting it in some way. I mean, if you looked at the raw numbers, I haven't checked them, but I would guarantee if you looked at the greatest polluters in the world, the state, regardless of where you are in any country, is going to be the greatest polluter.
Well, of course, and especially like the forests that get stripped. Those are public forests. They're ones where the government says to a company, hey, here, if you pay us this, you can, chop down the trees here. So then the company goes, sweet, I have this much time, I have this much area, I'm going to chop down as many as I possibly can while my license or whatever lasts. That's just the way it works. Murray Rothbard wrote about that, and so many others have. But yeah, either way, I appreciated that he focused it well. Also, immigration. A quote from him, which I appreciated in here, he said, Jacob Hornberger said, like with other socialist schemes, the result of, immigration controls is what the famed economist Ludwig von Mises called planned chaos. The thing is, all the immigration chaos, the illegal aliens, the everything, it benefits both sides. It benefits the left and the right, because the right can do the fear-mongering, saying, ooh, look at all these illegal immigrants flooding over the border to rape your daughters. Meanwhile, the left can say, ooh, elect us because look at all these poor destitute people coming across the border who have no hope. Here, give us more money so we can get the government to take more money so that we can help these people. Both sides use them. Like what the Libertarian Party should be doing, if anything, hopefully not putting candidates in office who will rule over us, but if there's anything they could be doing, hopefully it's this, just making people think, helping people see the fact that, oh, both sides benefit from these absurd policies. You know, they're designed to keep them in power. They're never going to fix the immigration system. Of course they won't. They won't make it easier for people to become citizens, because no one on the left or right benefits from it. They gain power from the chaos, from the crazy stuff.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's not going to be fixed.
No. And honestly, in Iran, women are probably still going to be made to wear hijabs in perpetuity, no matter what men do on their Instagram.
Whoa. That was slick transition right there.
I know. I segue like Joe Bluth.
Nyuk, nyuk, nyuk.
But yeah, did you see that?
Yes, I did. Iranian men wearing hijabs in solidarity with women. Yeah.
Virtue signaling. I mean, honestly, hearing that there are men in Iran that would like their women, their wives, their daughters, their sisters to not have to cover their hair legally, and where they could get punished by the state if they don't. That's good.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I mean, that's great.
I'd like to see more Muslim men in those areas of the world stick up for their women.
Yeah.
But do you think that posting a picture of yourself wearing a headscarf is going to do much for you? For your wife?
See, I highly doubt it. They're framing it in these, like in this Independent article, you know, they're framing it like it's a big protest, but a dude posting an Instagram picture with a hijab on his head, is he wearing it to work? You know, is he wearing it out and about? Like, that would cause much more of a stir, and maybe cause people to turn their heads, as opposed to, ooh, look, I posted on Instagram. And even here, you see the dude with the hijab on his head, and the wife with her bare hair out. Now, she's actually, that's more edgy for her to do that.
She's flexing.
Yeah, than it is for him. He's safe, because he's not going to get in trouble for that, but someone could knock on their door and be like, excuse me, get that slut out here. So.
Yep.
Oh, it's bizarre.
Are we sure he's not just trans, though?
Oh, excuse me, I don't want to offend the poor dude. Yeah, maybe it is.
Are you assuming the pronouns here?
Maybe I am. To a certain extent, it feels a little to me like, you know, the dudes who go to the topless protests. You know, you have all the young topless girls running around, showing, you know, protesting. Of course, in areas that it's already,
like a good time.
Of course, in areas that it's already, you know, legal for them to run around topless, like, you know, New York City. But then you have all the dudes show up, and then in solidarity to the girls, they take off their shirts, you know, or maybe put tape on their nipples. It's like, dude, you're not actually helping. You're not. Golly.
We live in a weird world, dude.
Honk.
All right. I think that was a good conversation.
I need to go to bed.
All right. As always, when Ryan's here, you can find him on Technoagrist, which you can find at mlganetwork.com, technoagrist.com. He's on Twitter and all other sorts of things. Just go to technoagrist.com and click the links, click the buttons. You'll find where he is. We are at thisismlga.com, and in any social media you use besides the stupid ones like Gab or what's the stupid one? Minds? What's another stupid one?
Aren't they all
MeWe?
stupid?
They're all stupid.
MeWe's particularly
the
dumb.
main ones. The main ones. Type in This Is MLGA and you'll find us.
Right, and one more thing I wanted to point out. In my recent episode of Technoagrist, I talked about the importance of DNS security, you know, at home and just in life, because the government and everybody can see in plain text every website you visit. So if you guys really care about security, you should really check out that episode. And Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Well, we're happy to be here, and we're happy you're with us. Stay sane.